Welcome to Screen Riot. This week's movie is Oldboy, a drama film from 2013. This episode will contain major spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, it's available to rent on Apple TV. Go check it out and come back to the podcast because this is Screen Riot.
Welcome to Screenwrite, the podcast where we review movies chosen entirely by fate. If you're having difficulties finding movies to watch, then this might be the podcast for you. I'm one of your hosts, Justin, and alongside me are co-hosts Eddie, Kyle, and John. And each week, one of us spins the wheel of fate, and the host must pick any movie from that genre. If you'd like to see all the movies that we've reviewed so far and how they've ranked, visit screenriot.net and have a look at the movie ratings page. At the end of each show, we'll spin the wheel and see what next week's movie is going to be so that you can follow along at home. Also, while you're at screenriot.net, make sure to head over to the support page to see all the different ways that you can help support the show. So, as Eddie said in the opening, Oldboy, the 2013 remake, is what we're going to be taking a look at today. It is definitely rated R, has a runtime of 1 hour and 44 minutes, and it was directed by Spike Lee.
So, is this actually a remake, or is this like just the American version of it?
I think it's the American version of it because it came from, the source material is like a Japanese manga, however you pronounce it, which is where the Korean version came from. Mm-hmm. So okay. I don't think it's like a direct remake of the movie, but it is from the source material.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So it's not like the same plot line.
No, it is.
It is? Okay.
It's damn near. This is the Americanized remake, basically, of the Korean one. That being said, there are major differences between the two movies.
Because I've never seen the original Oldboy.
The 2003 Korean one? Yeah. It's different. Yeah. Just different.
Better than this or worse than this?
I don't like it as much. I think this is the better version. But gotcha. But it's also my tastes. I mean, if I was South Korean, I'd probably be much more about the 2003 version.
Right.
So I mean, there are things I like about the 2003 version, but there's things that I watch it and I go,
just like Josh Brolin in this whole movie.
A little bit.
Caveman. A little Josh Brolin mad.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, if you're unfamiliar with Spike Lee, which I'm not really sure how you are, but if you're unfamiliar with him, so he's done a couple of big movies. Just go through some credits here. I didn't realize it until looking at his IMDb page that this dude was a massive music video director. I knew he did like some of the big like Michael Jackson stuff and all that, but
he's done others.
Oh yeah, he's done like 100.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, he did the Weapon of Choice video.
Oh wow!
No, that was
was it?
It was Spike Lee.
That was a different Spike Lee. Spike Jonze. That's who it was.
No, really?
Mm-hmm.
I've been lied to my entire life.
Yeah. Spike Lee did like Michael Jackson, did James Brown, did Public Enemy.
Okay, interesting.
Huh.
Trying to think of some other people, but I can't think off the top of my head. But movie-wise, though, since that's why we're here today, he did in 1986 She's Gotta Have It, which was kind of like his breakout movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then 1989 he did Do the Right Thing.
Yep.
1992 Malcolm X.
Oh, what about School Days? Wasn't School Days in there? Or was that 93?
So
School Days with
I didn't see School Days.
Half
Did he
Pint.
do?
Yeah, didn't he? Wasn't that Half Pint with School Days? Hold on a second.
I don't remember. Yeah,
keep
check
going,
it up real
keep
quick.
going,
Yeah. So 1992 Malcolm X. 2006 Inside Man, which I actually really like.
Me too.
And then 2018, one of his more recent ones, The Black Klansman, which is a fantastic movie.
Love that movie. That was actually one of my Patreon picks for Crime.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, for the season finale.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it got beat out by Heat.
Yeah, School Days, 1988.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
1988. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know why I missed that then.
I don't know. It actually was before Do the Right Thing.
Gotcha.
Huh.
Yeah,
Nice.
Do the Right Thing was 89.
Yep. So anyway, so like we were just talking about the differences between the original and this one. I have not seen the original either, but I could tell by some of the weird things that happened in this that there were some nods to the original that I had no idea about. Like when Josh Brolin goes into that restaurant and there's a octopus on the side of the fish tank and he just stares at it
Okay.
for like 10 seconds and then walks away. Apparently there's an octopus scene
Yeah, in the original
original.
one, he gets served by Mido. Mido is the woman who, by the way, spoilers, we fucking say it every show.
Yeah, everybody knows.
But to be clear, if you have not watched this movie yet, stop now because I'm about to ruin it. So,
What
3, 2,
I think
1.
They get it, yeah.
Okay. In the original one, whenever he gets let go and everything, and he ends up in a sushi restaurant, and the sushi chef Mido is actually his daughter, and she brings over a live octopus on a plate and says, here's a live here's the octopus, it's live. Tell me when you're ready to cut it, because what they'll do is they'll kill it right then and slice it up so that it's super fresh, right?
Wow.
Well, he just picks it up off the plate live and bites its head off.
Ew.
Like just starts chomping it, and then basically like shoves all the tentacles in his mouth and starts trying to like chew through that. And meanwhile, she has this look of like fascination and
Like she just got turned on.
yeah, it's very odd. And he's got like 2 tentacles like sticking out of his mouth, curling around in all
That's
these
their-
directions.
That's their
Manga.
thing over there.
I was
isn't
about
it?
to say, yeah, that's their thing. So.
Yeah, it's very odd though.
That's
It's
the
very,
shtick.
very, very odd in that scene. But yeah, so whenever they did the octopus thing, I was like, oh, an octopus, okay.
Gotcha. So that must have made an impact. That scene must have been impactful for viewers. So
Yeah, I think people were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
So-
what's happening in this movie?
So that's why they did the nod here.
But what's kind of weird is like in that movie, in the original one too, though, there's a giant ant that happens. The Mido is on a train, and she talks about how when she's lonely, she feels like an ant. Well, on the train ride one time, she was sitting across, sort of diagonally, from a giant ant. And I was like, well, why didn't the giant ant? I mean, if we're going to show this octopus scene, show the giant ant. Let's see the giant ant show up in this American version. I think Spike Lee went, no, that shit's weird.
Yeah.
And he moved on.
Well, apparently there was the studio cut it down.
Oh, did they?
It was originally an hour 40.
Well, I think that's what it is now, right?
It's an hour and 44.
Yeah, I think originally it was like 2
it
hours,
2 hours and
5
40
minutes.
Well,
something
it was
like that.
it was 140 minutes.
140
long.
140
I'm
minutes,
sorry,
so 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah, and they cut it down to what, 104 minutes? Something like
yeah,
that.
something like that. Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah, it's definitely I don't know.
So it could have been in there.
It could have been. I'm glad that the movie ended up the way that it did. But people bitch about it. They say that the original one was more artistic. It had more creativity and all that kind of stuff. I agree, but it also made less sense in some ways, and you had to deal with things like giant ants and guys biting the heads off a fucking live octopus. So
With this one, you just had to deal with cooked mice babies.
yeah, that shit was
Oh,
mean.
man.
That was rough.
That
was
was
mean.
That was rough. I felt terrible for him.
Yeah.
I laughed.
No, you did not. Did you really?
I chuckled.
Oh.
God, you're the kind.
I'm
you're-
terrible.
Hold on. To be clear, you're the fucking guy they hire to work in these places. You like, I always watch these movies and go, who would possibly go to work for? No, never mind, Justin. He'd be like, you want me to steam them? Absolutely. Can I do it with a side of soy sauce? crazy bastard.
Yeah, that was
I don't know why.
that was a
but-
very terrible scene.
That was horrible.
It was rough,
I felt
man.
so bad for Josh Brolin.
His first friend in like a decade, and they steam it, and it's babies. It's just rough.
Yeah.
So
Horrible.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. So basically, if you haven't seen it and you're still listening to the podcast, Josh Brolin is imprisoned for 20 years, and
and we don't know why.
we don't know why.
For like an hour and 20 minutes
Yeah.
of the film.
Well, it's about 30 minutes, I think, or 30 something minutes is when he gets out. I think.
It's exactly 30 minutes he gets
Yeah.
released. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's an hour and 14 minutes left of the movie when he gets let out.
Yeah. We don't know why. We just know that he's fed Chinese food, the same Chinese food every day, or we assume every day.
Yeah.
I do really like how they did the passage of time in this movie.
I did too.
Yeah.
I like how they did the passage of time. I wish they were more consistent with it. There's a couple of continuity errors in the way that they do it.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, when was his wife killed?
Well,
Yeah,
early. It was the first thing he sees on TV.
You're right.
Yeah.
But it apparently happened like it appears that it happened like 5 years into him being abducted, because they're totally unclear. They keep bouncing back and forth. But the problem is, if Mia was 3 whenever he was abducted, then Mia would have been 8 whenever that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they show a 3-year-old being taken out of the house.
No, it happened when she was 3.
I agree.
Because she was 8 playing the cello when we first see her.
I totally agree with you. If you follow Mia's timeline throughout the TV stuff, you're good. It's whenever you start adding in the other stuff, because I think they show the Clinton inauguration before, like, I think it's before that or something. There was something about the Clinton inauguration that threw me off too. I was like, well, that's 97. And I'm like, well, how? So that he's been in there for 9 years, and then they bounce back, and he's only been in there for 5 years. And I'm like, how many fucking? Why does he keep bouncing back and forth?
Well, see, I didn't have a problem with it because I don't think they messed up the timeline. I had to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
But it seemed pretty straightforward to me because when I realized, oh, he's watching TV, they show like the Twin Towers and all kinds of, Bush being inaugurated, the Mission Accomplished banner, all this famous stuff. You know what was going through my mind during this?
Yes.
I was like, oh, this is really interesting that this is how they're doing the passage of time. It's not boring. Everybody who has lived through this knows exactly what years, because these are all major points in our life.
Especially like 2001 with the Twin Towers attack.
Yeah.
It's like what year that happened.
Exactly. So I was thinking, like, I wonder how this movie would fare, like a decade, 2 decades from now or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, this was 2013, so technically that is a decade later because it's 2022.
Almost.
Almost. But it is almost a decade later, so I'm curious if people were to watch it now that weren't alive during those points, if they would be totally confused.
Well, I'll tell you, it's kind of like watching the 2003 South Korean version, because they do the exact same thing in that one, but it's all like South Korean, like, milestones.
Right,
and I'm just like, yep, no clue. Oh, the ex-president. Okay.
Oh, that makes
no
See,
idea.
I don't think it'd be lost
Interesting.
because at least I know with the Clinton inauguration, the date was actually on the lower third there.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
the
So was
date
was the
there.
Obama one. So was the Twin Towers.
So
I think,
you're able to
yeah.
see. You're able to see.
Okay.
And I mean, I would imagine the Twin Towers, if they were confused, anything prior to that, the Twin Towers going down would be a year that they're taught. So
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
we hope.
Well,
I mean, I just wanted to make that comment that I thought it was a really interesting way to do it.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, because when I started, I was like, okay, so how long is he going to be in here? And then they started to do the news broadcasts, and I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of cool. And I did like the obviously the passage of time of meals, because it's like, okay, he's probably got 3 meals, and I did like that in the morning he didn't get vodka, but yet in the afternoon and the evening he did.
no, he did get vodka in the morning because it was right next to his cereal.
Right at the very beginning he did, and then they started to kind of cut it out.
Yeah.
and then
they're,
they
like,
brought it back
detoxing
in.
him?
Yeah, so
Forced detox.
yeah, because I thought it was kind of interesting, because I thought maybe at first I thought maybe this is just a black market of people that go out and find drunks and they detox them.
Yeah, that'd be kind of strange, but yeah.
Yeah, the kidnappers with the hearts of gold.
That's, it's far more altruistic of a
You-
movie
you
than I
never-
would ever pick. But
you
yeah,
never
sure.
know.
You're right.
You never know. I was like, okay, so when does the crazy shit happen? Because right now they're doing them a favor.
I mean, I thought it's like, okay, you're really pissed off that dude at the beginning about trying to mess with his wife. So he's hired these people to kidnap you and teach you a lesson.
So it's like the game.
Well, and it
with,
definitely
what's his
was.
name?
Yeah, it definitely was leading towards that.
Right.
Of he was going through a list of people that he kind of pissed off.
Like everybody he's ever known.
Yeah,
Except for Chucky.
Right. But yeah, we find out that Chucky is a good friend of his from school, and that's the only reason why he would actually help him.
Well, speaking about the whole prison thing, the poster of that bellhop,
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, the first thing I think I would do would just tear that thing down, because seeing that guy smile at you day in, day
You know what
out.
was kind of creepy though is he only appeared as like an imaginary friend for like a split second, or like a small scene.
Right, because
He saw him on the bed, with popcorn. He was laughing at the murder mystery or whatever, and he was like, "Oh, cool! Somebody here. This is neat." And I thought that he would actually keep that person around for a little bit, but he never did.
I think it was kind of. I mean, I kind of go back to Castaway,
I was going to say, it is very Castaway.
Well, he made a Wilson pillow. Right?
Yeah, he made it. Well,
Oh, he did,
yeah,
didn't he?
Yeah. I think that was him going, shit, I'm losing it.
Snap out of it.
I need to do something so I don't lose it here. I'm gonna make a Wilson pillow, and then I'm gonna start talking to the mouse in the bathroom, because anything is better than hallucinating a person who's not there.
Right.
You know what
Based
I mean?
off
So,
of a movie poster thing.
yeah. So I think that was his take on it.
Yeah, so that's actually Spike Lee's little brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
hopefully I can get this name right. Clink, or I don't know. Cinque. Sink? I don't know.
Sync.
Sink?
Sink?
I'm going with sync.
Yeah.
Sinkley?
Yeah, Sink. He played the bellhop.
Okay.
That's cool.
So, but anyway, you know, the other thing I did like was the rotating picture in the background
Yes.
of the prison.
Yeah,
so
that was
he could
different.
know if it was day or night.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
every time. I thought that was kind of interesting thing. The first time they showed it rolling, I'm like, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John. You look like you got something.
Well, I felt horrible for the mice, but then I'm going, okay, 5 years,
Yep.
8 years,
Yeah.
20 years. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah. How in the world
and-
do you have somebody in this room without any human interaction whatsoever
And
for 20 years?
There's that, and then you're going through the timeline, like we just did. All that shit that he missed, because when he gets out, he doesn't know anything about the internet. He doesn't know anything about cell phones.
Yeah.
He knows.
They gave him an
nothing.
iPhone, and it was just like, "What's this?"
Yeah, it was just like it was like a combination of torture. It's like, okay, I'm going to torture you for 20 years, knowing that we've blamed you for this, and I'm going to torture you for 20 years, and then I'm going to let you out into a place that you have no idea how the hell to do anything. He's just lucky that Chucky was still in business.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
it might be a commentary on prison.
Yeah, could be.
You know, people spend 20, 25 years in prison. They get out, the world's totally changed.
Yeah, it is.
True. I will say that there's definitely some socio-political commentary in this, but there's more psychological commentary than anything, like the Oedipal Rex, I don't want to say phenomenon. That's not really what I mean, but there's just the whole the psyche issue, the thing Freud talked about with Oedipus and Oedipal. You know, you guys know that, right? Where you fall in love with your mom.
Right.
It's more about that and shame and guilt, the guilt that we have in society when it comes to sexual things, especially. Now, in terms of this sexual thing, I'm okay with that guilt. I think that guilt is purposely placed so that we don't have Habsburg jaws and stuff like that. But I think it is also a commentary on this shame that we feel whenever it comes to sex. So I think that's an interesting piece of it that gets thrown in as well.
Maybe because he's when he's in prison. I don't know what year this was, but he's watching that aerobics instructor, and he starts to
Masturbate.
he starts to masturbate, and they put on the sleeping gas.
So it had to be 88 because that's what I mean. So at that point, he's been in jail like 4 or 5 minutes, quote unquote, by our actual runtime. And they knock him out. He just ejaculated. They knock him out. They take his fingerprints on the crowbar. They take his semen. They do all that stuff, and then they go kill.
Which was interesting. I was fully invested in the movie when that happened.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. So, but then they go and kill Mia's mom, right? His ex-wife. They go and kill her right then. So that had to be 1988, maybe 1989.
No.
If we're not gonna
99, 98.
no.
Yes,
89.
because he was actually in 93.
Yeah, 93 was when he's abducted.
Yeah.
Okay, then
This
I'm
all
getting the
started in
original. So I'm
93.
getting the original one mixed
Yeah,
up.
because
Sorry about that.
93 was when it started, and
So-
2013 was when he was let out.
So my
20
bad.
years.
So 93. So 93, possibly 94. Okay,
Right.
that's whenever that takes place.
Yes.
So that was really early on in the whole him being in prison thing.
Right.
And I am getting him confused, by the way, because it was 15 years in the original, and he was taken in 88
Okay.
and let out in 2003.
Yeah, because I know it had to be really, really quick, just because that's when the murder happened,
Yeah.
and
She's still 3.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they take all this evidence from him, and then basically, when they did that, I was like, oh shit, they're gonna frame him for murder or something like
Yeah,
that.
and I thought, okay, this place, because there's obviously, I think we saw at this point Samuel L. Jackson's character watching all these monitors or something like that, right? Or was that later?
That's like way later.
Okay. Now, what I kind of thought was, okay, this is obviously an organized thing that's happening. This
Yeah,
isn't
we see a shot of Samuel L. Jackson, but for like 5 seconds,
and I think he was just watching.
and it's just a head-on shot. You can't see what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's just at a desk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I thought was, okay, this is not the only room in here. There's got to be more rooms like this, and I thought it was something to where they actually can pin murders on people.
Oh, like
And
it's an
so-
organization that.
Yeah, so they just kidnap somebody. They actually frame whoever they kidnapped, and now they're fugitives.
That's like a horror movie, like Hostel or something.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Solid business plan.
When I
Yeah.
when I watched this the first time, I thought it was like Hostel.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, oh, it's like Hostel. Okay, I'm on board. It's like Hostel. And then as everything's going through, and like he tries killing himself and everything, and they bring him back. They stitch him up. I'm like, okay, this is not like Hostel. What is taking place here? Wait, 20 years? What the fuck is taking place? now? Yeah.
So it's like, why is this guy in here for one?
Which is the big question of the movie. Which I like the mystery because it made me sit there and try to guess.
Yes.
Actively try to be Detective Justin.
not technically the big question of the movie, but I'm with you.
Well,
the big question
for the
of movie-
viewer at that time, it is
True.
Yeah.
The big one is why let him out.
Well, towards the end.
Yeah. Because because if you can afford to take somebody and have them like tortured for 20 years by keeping them in this room, and obviously it's expensive and everything else.
See, why let him out? What I thought was they knew that he had already had an escape plan.
Oh, and they were just going to let him act it out.
And they were like, "Oh, okay, well, let's just release him and obviously track him because let's see what he does, right? Because instead of actually breaking out with, hair down to his shoulders and beard and all that kind of stuff, he looks like a caveman breaking out of an air vent. Okay, this looks suspicious, and he's actually breaking out, in the same building that he's in. This would actually cause questions and cause police to come here. So let's actually take him out to an open field where he has no idea where he's at, and just let him play it out that way. And then I saw the clock. On his phone, he took out his iPhone and he saw the countdown. It was like 83 hours or something like that. And I'm like,
It was like 43 hours or something. Because he had 48 hours or something.
It was like 84 hours.
it was a long time.
Yeah, it was a long
it's
time.
I thought it was 48, but
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, now he's been training because they've purposely put
now he's
like
a martial artist, and black belt degree. Yeah.
So he's super buff, he's super trained, and it kind of made sense when he first came up on that high school team or whatever, and he's just started just beating the shit out of them. And I'm like, okay, this guy is a trained killer. They're actually now like mess with his mind enough that he's actually controlled by them. So he's almost activated like the Russians or something like that. He's been activated.
And see, what's funny is you're going closer to the original in some ways. Like in the original, he gets hypnotized.
Okay.
Him and Midu both get hypnotized. Like all over the course of years, they're both hypnotized, and they end up acting out all these different things because of the hypnosis. You're getting closer to that. The only thing, okay, so I like this movie, right? However, him being a trained killer part bugs the shit out of me.
Well, the movie definitely takes a right at the fork of the road here.
Well, no, I mean, I think you can be twisted enough to become crazy. Like, I don't have a problem with that. You can be violent, you can hurt people. I'm totally down with that part. The part that bothers me is that he takes out these 4 like lacrosse players or football players or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, in a very skilled way,
Right.
In
Yes.
some instances, and I'm like, can you get there by watching like old
By
Mike Tyson?
shadowboxing?
Yeah,
No.
shadowboxing video. I don't think so.
No, I don't think you can either.
Now that being said, that fight scene I don't like that much, although it's badass. I mean, if you don't think about it, it's a badass scene.
Right.
The fight scene later on with him against like the 20 guys.
John
I
Wick
call that
scene.
the hammer fight.
The hammer fight.
The hammer fight.
So in the original one, there's a hammer fight too, right? It's the exact same situation. But in the original one, it's much more like there's 20 guys, but they're all coming at him one at a time, right?
Which they kind of did.
They kind of did. They like surrounded him, and they would like get it one at a time.
Oh, I didn't think it was one at a
yeah.
time. I saw like 3 and 4 on it.
It
at
was
one
totally
point.
in my notes. I put it reminded me of an old Japanese film.
Oh,
Where
fair
they would surround him, and then one
Like a
guy would do
samurai
it, and he'd
thing,
take him out, and another guy would go at him, and he'd take him out.
No, I mean there are.
But it
times,
was quick.
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
times where there's a couple of people fighting him, but for the most part, I think they did a good job of
Keeping
hiding the one-on-one kind of aspect
Yeah,
of
except
it.
for the one guy who flops. There's a guy who flops in it. If you look closely, there's a guy who doesn't get hit and he goes down. I'm like, what just happened there?
Yeah.
I'm like, what just happened
I
there?
did notice
sir?
that, and that made me actually look at other people in the back because
Yeah.
Because this happens in Blazing Saddles, and it's hilarious because it's during like the ending scene where people are in this huge fight in the street or something like that, and you got this one guy with a board over his head, and he's looking for somebody to smash over the head with, and he never does. He's just standing out there in the middle of nowhere, like waiting for somebody to come up to him. So I start, every time there's this group, like mob type thing up after one person, I always start to look at the extras, and just to see what they're doing, because okay, I gotta wait my turn. Okay, now it's my turn. Now I'm gonna hit him with this board or something.
Choreographed,
but then I noticed that guy that just flopped, and I'm like, there it is. There's there's the invisible hit.
Yeah. Well, and there was another guy who like he runs in. I don't know if he has like something in his hands or whatever, but then like Brolin like clotheslines him or something. He does a backflip, and he lands on his stomach, and you see the guy crawl away.
Yes.
Because I was laughing at that because he's like trying to make room for all the other stuff that's about to happen.
You know what I didn't hear in this movie?
What?
Like of all the fight scenes, I didn't hear any of the Wilhelm scream.
I don't remember hearing.
I don't remember hearing it at all.
I don't know.
Because usually
I
can pick it out, and it's usually in those
distinctive.
It's usually in those type of action scenes when somebody like falls off a ledge or something. But
so the hammer scene though does come after one of my favorite parts of this movie in a weird way is him trying to find them through dumplings.
Yes.
That was smart, actually. I like that.
Yeah, it's just such a funny, like...
Take me to all the restaurants that have the word dragon in it. And
there's 200 restaurants.
There's like a shit ton. In this one block or whatever, I don't know how big the search was. And I guess it was in New York.
You actually never find out.
Yeah, I don't know, really.
It's either in San Francisco...
City like New York.
It's either in San Francisco or New York, because that's the only places that I know like have really
I'm
distinct
sure
Chinatowns.
Chicago has a Chinatown too.
Yeah, because he's been so used to the 20 years of these same dumplings.
Yeah.
And some have made him sick, which I thought was hilarious. He runs outside.
I really like the idea too, but I thought they should have flipped it.
Okay.
Like, I thought he should have been okay eating all the different dumplings until he found the restaurant, and then that one should have made him sick. Because that's the one that he's been eating for 20 years.
I'm kind of with you on that. I think either one kind of works.
Yes, it works. I just
what I liked about it was the
little flip, like the guy in the fight scene.
Yeah.
What I like about it, though, and talking about the original again, I'm just going to say this. In the original, he finds the guy. He actually doesn't find the restaurant through like some nicely dressed henchman. A delivery guy is taking the order to the place, and he's running full speed uphill behind this delivery guy on a bike. And as he gets there, he's like, why is the restaurant so far from where you got to deliver it? We passed 5 other Chinese places on the way here. And the guy's
it's the best in the city.
No, but the guy doesn't say anything. He just looks at him like he's fucking crazy. And he's like, and tell your chef he uses too much scallions. It's such a ridiculous, extra dumb line. But the problem with the original is it's got stupid shit like that.
It's got campy stuff.
Yeah, where you're just like, wait, but what? What's going on?
And then he kills him.
And then he kills everybody.
Yeah.
But you know that dumpling scene where he
hates onions,
where he actually finds the restaurant, finds the dumplings.
Yes,
that might have been an homage to the octopus scene as well, because he was just shoveling them in.
Oh, that's possible.
Like he wasn't even.
Well, he
wasn't even swallowing. He was just shoving them in his mouth.
Yeah, he does that in the original one though too. There's quite a bit that crossed over from the original one, but the main plot line is way different. And I'll go with that. I'll go into that in a minute. But
so before he gets the help from Maria, is that her name? Maria.
Mia.
Yeah, I think that's her name. Oh no, it's Marie.
Mia
is his daughter.
Mia's his daughter. Yeah. So when he first meets Elizabeth Olsen,
which is Marie or Mary.
Who's Mia then?
Mia's his daughter. Mia is the made up. Well, Mia is the real name.
I'm sorry. Okay,
they change her name and everything.
I got
find
you.
out at the end.
I just call her Mia the whole time because I'm in on the gag.
Right.
So the movie doesn't play. The first time I watched it, it was way different. But yeah. Go ahead.
Well, what I was gonna say is what we just had that moment that we just had when I was watching the movie. They kept saying Mia and Marie.
Yeah. And
I don't know why, but I started thinking at that time, oh, that's the same person.
Yeah.
Because the names are so close together for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got it confused for a minute. But then I was like, when somebody said her name again, I was like, oh, okay, never mind. Okay, it's not the same person. I was right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unknowingly.
See, I didn't realize, I'll tell you, right when I knew that it was his daughter. was the sex scene.
Oh,
When,
really?
when they had sex together, I literally stood up and ran out of the room. And my wife, this was the first time I watched it. Like
dumplings.
yeah. 8 years ago, right? 8 years ago, I stood up and ran out of the room. My wife's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "That's his daughter. That's his daughter. Oh no, that's his daughter." And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "Yes, oh God, it definitely is. It definitely fucking is at this
and
point."
see, if this wasn't picked by you,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
Did you really think that was his daughter at that point?
Well, it's mainly because it's like, okay, you got this old dude
Yeah.
banging a younger chick that could be about the same age as his daughter.
In real life, it is.
And I'm like,
By the way.
and I'm like, okay, why is this old dude having sex with a girl that could be the same age as his daughter? It's like, that's really gross. I'm like,
Yeah, they've had
okay.
tender moments.
Well, here's my thing.
Yeah.
She's emotionally
Scarred.
majorly emotionally scarred.
She has daddy issues.
And he's obviously, especially now, and he's been locked up for 20 years.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah,
I mean,
I get that, but it's just, I don't know. Yeah,
I
Yeah.
did not see it coming. I did not think about it.
neither did I.
But, you know-
I should have gotten it. Looking back, I should have gotten it when Adrian? Is that his kidnapper?
Yes.
Yes.
I believe
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, when Adrian is watching that, somehow he knows they're going to stay in this hotel room.
Yeah.
Don't know how the hell that happens, but he's got the camera in the hotel room and he's getting excited. It's like, oh, it's happening.
Right, his
I was
plan
like,
is coming to
Then it
fruition.
should have,
Yeah.
yeah. But
So-
what
yeah.
the reason I didn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the sex scene was before they went to the school, right? Or was that after they went to the school?
No, it
That
was
was-
before they went to the
It
school.
was before they went to the school. So,
but Adrian was already following them. He was following them from
oh yeah,
From the time he got let out.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
not just that, but I mean, he was also following Marie after the break-in at the house.
Right.
All that took place. So he's been following them the whole time. They checked into that hotel and then left and went and talked to
oh that's right. That's how he got the camera.
the
in there.
one. And that's whenever he got the camera.
Yeah, because
and
they
stuff.
they went to the school and saw the security and everything and said,
Yes.
we'll come back later and went back to the hotel.
Yes.
Okay, but yeah, I so that's why I didn't make that connection.
Yeah.
Then I guess
I get it. No, and it's fine.
I mean, it wasn't 100% when I first made that. I was
Yeah.
like, well, that could be, but no, because in my head, I'm trusting the movie here that the daughter is actually
Mia, the one.
Mia.
Yeah, short hair.
Mia
player.
is something different because that's what TV tells you, you
Yeah.
know, what to believe.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, no, that can't be, you know, okay, whatever. If it is, gross, but if it's not, cool, whatever. Let's go.
So then, what about the whole what a twist ending? Then, like,
Yeah,
were
that-
you really surprised about how everything came together?
I actually was, because the studio that he had built with all the sets and everything, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This guy is genius and very, very cynical.
He's a Bond.
The
He's a Bond
longest-
villain.
Bond villain,
What did
yeah.
he say? The longest running crime show with only one viewer.
One viewer, yeah.
yeah, because when that happened, I'm like, oh shit, that is what is actually playing in the actual
Yeah.
prison cell type thing, the hotel room.
I was shocked. I was disgusted. I was amazed.
Yeah.
I had so many emotions at that point. I'm like, oh my God. I was speechless.
Yeah. No.
In my own head, I'm like, it was like just, that was it.
I
That's all I
think-
heard was just,
I think this movie is probably one of the best plot twists. You know, how everything just comes together so naturally. Because typically in movies, you know, you have a plot twist that happens and you're like, wait, did they just say that?
Yeah.
Is that what's really happening? Is that what's really going on? But this one, the slow walkthrough of everything that's like all the studio sets and everything, and then Mia is actually playing the cello.
Yes.
What was her name? April or something?
Yeah, whatever it was.
Ashley. Ashley,
yeah,
you know,
Ashley. Yeah.
some
Some actress
actress.
that he hired.
Well, and he's had her on retainer for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know,
and then
she's been-
he's like, okay, you're good to go. You're no longer needed. And I'm thinking, oh my God.
Yeah.
The long game in this guy.
Yeah, this is the long con for sure.
Wow.
So when
The
Adrian,
patience. Like,
when-
what the hell?
when Josh Brolin and Marie go to the school and he starts walking through what took place, 30 years ago, whenever he was at the school, and he's seeing Amanda Price and she's in the greenhouse and all that stuff. Like when I saw that, I was like, okay, so more than likely he ruined her life. Like, she's sleeping with some older guy. He came out and he said, okay, she's sleeping with the headmaster.
I thought it was a teacher.
Yeah, and like ruined this girl's life and ruined that guy's life, and that's why this guy's pissed. Okay, cool. Then he goes and he looks they look up the microfilm, and yeah, actually his last name was Price too. And you went, oh God, oh no,
Yeah,
oh no. But then it gets worse whenever Adrian explains that Amanda, when she killed her, or whenever her father killed her, I'm getting the original fucked up.
Yeah.
Whenever her father, killed everybody, that it really screwed him up because, people just didn't understand the love that was shared between him and his sister and dad. And oh my God.
Yeah. When the dad was walking through the house with a shotgun, I'm like, well, good. You need to eliminate everything in this house because it's nasty.
Oh God.
Well, when he was doing that too, he was walking through. Every time he walked into the room, they immediately started taking their clothes off.
undressing?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Adrian
And I'm
started unbuckling his belt, like, and he was
Yeah.
all happy too.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, they were
So-
happy, and it was like, is that the only time he sees his kids?
No, it's just,
I mean,
that's just the love they have.
It's just love they have, I guess.
God.
Dear
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah.
But
I think that father was doing everybody a favor.
he was doing everybody. That was right.
Oh,
Jesus Christ,
come
John.
on.
Yeah, no.
It might have been what
What?
they called it.
It made me it made me physically ill whenever I first watched it.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, this is insane. And then once he explained that, I was like, Marie is definitely his daughter. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. And my wife at that time, I'm standing outside the room watching
Marie
it
or whatever, yeah.
through a doorway. Like, this is
Like
this
your
is-
hands over your eyes, but barely.
Do you remember the Office scene when Scott's Tots, the episode where he had to stand up in front of the room and tell all those kids that he wasn't going to send them to college? The level of uncomfortableness there, not equally matched. This movie's worse, but
way worse.
that type of feeling of like, oh, I can't. It's fake, and I can't even watch it. Like, it's not real, and it's physically
Yeah.
making me ill. It just. I don't know.
The thing is I'm really glad that he actually followed through. The Adrian guy, he followed through with the payout.
Yes, he killed
That
himself.
that
yeah.
wasn't a trick.
Gave him $20 million
In diamonds, and I
then
was like,
shot
okay,
himself,
all right,
you know?
cool.
Yeah.
He
And-
actually followed through with his plan.
And
That's
Brolin
good.
was pretty stand up. Going and giving diamonds to the daughter, giving diamonds to Samuel L. Jackson.
The kidnappers.
Yeah, the kidnappers. He's like, there you
Thanks
go.
for the
Well,
hospitality.
that was payment though. He
yeah.
was buying the rest of his life in that hotel. Like, he's never coming out of that hotel.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And see, now let's talk.
That's the part I didn't understand.
He can't.
He-
Okay.
He felt he was so psychologically scarred
Yes.
that he's like, I can't function anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I need to be here.
The
This is where I need to
and
be.
this is the shame thing that I was talking about. The
Okay.
guilt and the shame thing. So in the original, much different ending. I'm just going to tell you guys now. The original one, basically the guy, Adrian's character, leaves Brolin in the big room. He doesn't kill himself right away. He just leaves him there.
Okay.
And at this point, by the way, Josh Brolin has cut out his own tongue and is completely fucking scarred, laying on the ground, crying, listening to recordings of him and his daughter have sex.
Nice.
That's where this level went.
Okay.
right.
Dear.
And the original movie was like
This
that?
is the original, yeah.
Jesus.
So at that point, the guy gets on the elevator. He does kill himself eventually, and Josh Brolin does not. The Josh Brolin South
yeah.
Korean character does
Right.
not leave and send Midu or Marie money and tell her to leave. He actually goes back to her,
Oh.
and she doesn't know that it's her dad. She
I
just
gotcha.
loves him, right?
Okay.
She just wants to be with him. So he calls back in the hypnotist that Adrian's character used to get them all into this situation in the first place, and begs her to wipe his memory.
Oh, wow.
And basically, it's kind of it's ambiguous at the end. Like, you don't know whether or not he really doesn't remember, but it fades on them being together.
Okay.
So in the original one, the South Korean one, daddy and daughter lived happily ever after.
Oh.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yeah, not great. Not a great ending, in my
Okay.
opinion. I like this ending better. It's
Yeah.
more of a hero's ending.
It's
right?
probably more Americanized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. A whole lot more of like, no, we're not going to diddle our kids on purpose, actually. Yeah.
Now we're not going to do incest.
Well,
No.
something that we kind of glossed over here, the Samuel L. Jackson torture scene.
Okay,
One of
that
my
was,
favorites.
That was actually pretty good.
It's one,
I
of,
actually
one of my,
liked it.
it's one of my favorites from
That
all
was
of film.
that was pretty crazy. It made me like physically when he grabbed the salt. I'm like, oh god, oh
yeah.
god.
Yeah. I was like, no,
Yeah.
don't do it. Don't. Oh, I feel your pain.
Did
man.
you ever see The
That's
Last House on the
horrible.
Left?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the scene at the end when the dad finally gets revenge and he microwaves
It's-
the guy's head.
It's fantastic.
It's silly because microwaves don't work like that.
Right.
But
Right.
the level of like, yeah, get him, right?
Right.
That's where I'm at with the Samuel Jackson stuff. And as he's chopping out little sections of
I was like, what is he
Chunks. It
doing?
was just little like surgical chunks.
I'm like,
I'm
oh.
going to enjoy myself here.
He's making a perforation.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So he can just grab his head and pull it off.
Yeah,
Like
that's pretty.
fucking genius.
And yeah, he even says that. He's like, I'm going to cut so much that I could just pull off your heads with my hands or something like that.
So
I was
in
like,
the in the original, it was knocking out teeth with that hammer.
This is
took
this
his-
is.
He took and pried teeth out individually.
Man,
with
this
a
is
hammer.
more creative.
I think so too, but I
Yeah.
mean, I still it's still pretty rough because you hear hammer like the claw hammer on enamel, and it's like, oh god, oh no, that sounds real. Oh Jesus, like
no.
Well, would you like to take a guess at what the body count in this movie?
the body count, 120.
53.
70.
42.
Oh,
Oh, that's not bad. You were
almost,
close. Yeah.
almost there.
Yeah.
But
Overbid,
I
though.
wanted one scene that one sequence I should say, it's not
Yes.
necessarily a scene, one sequence I really liked was the walkthrough of Josh Brolin's memory at school.
Yes.
I really liked how they did that.
They were in place.
How
with the
they're in
memory.
place. They're actually they're viewing the memory. I thought that was really creative.
At first, I didn't like it just because I'm thinking, how the hell does he not remember this?
Oh, yeah.
No,
But-
yeah.
But I just remembered. I mean, as I was watching this, I was actually given visuals of him constantly drinking. So it's like,
Well,
he's killing brain cells pretty much. He's constantly drunk, so he doesn't really remember jack.
well, there's that, and he's just an ass.
Oh, yeah.
He is not a likable person whatsoever.
So
No,
he doesn't
he's
have
an
friends. He
anti-hero.
doesn't, well, he has one friend. That was Chucky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other piece to that is that he even says this at one point. He didn't think anything significant of it.
Right.
He just thought she was a
Well, it's
whore.
an everyday thing for him.
Yeah.
No. But he just thought she was a whore who was sleeping with some older guy. He
Right.
didn't know until they looked at that microfilm that was her dad.
Right.
So just some girl that they tortured at school that then got pulled out of school by her parents. So sad, whatever. That's just how he took it. So It's
But yeah, I
interesting.
think Justin was right though. But that's just a normal day.
He's
in the
just an
life of-
asshole. So
No, I'm with
yeah.
you on that, but it's also
Yeah.
interesting if you think about the impact that he had on those people's lives.
Right.
That was so insignificant to him.
Right.
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 In the original, just so you guys know, Josh Brolin's character sees Adrian and his sister through a window. They're like playing with a camera, like joking around with a camera, and then the brother Adrian starts getting really serious with the sister, and the sister's like no at first, and then yes, and he gets her pregnant, right?
Oh.
Well, Josh Brolin is telling everybody that she's pregnant,
Wow.
and Adrian, in his own fucking craziness, does not believe that she's pregnant until everybody else starts to say that she's pregnant, and then blames Josh Brolin with making her pregnant.
Okay.
Actually thinks that by saying those words into existence, he made her pregnant. So when she kills herself by throwing herself off a bridge, there's only one person to blame. It's the person who made her pregnant in the first place and gave her the shame and all this other stuff because their love was so pure.
I gotcha.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's interesting that the same ideas are there.
Yeah.
The same notions of shame
just
and
different
guilt.
players.
But it's different players. And again, it's that idea of like Adrian looks at Josh Brolin as this super significant character in his life. So significant that he's going to wrap his fortune, his everyday actions, I mean, years and years of planning and fucking everything he does in a day deals with Josh Brolin.
Right.
100%. Josh Brolin, for the better part of a decade, could care less. Didn't know that Adrian even fucking existed. Had no
Right.
interest whatsoever in the guy.
Right.
And that's what I think eventually puts him over the edge, is that he didn't know the significance of Adrian, and he didn't know the significance of how much that he had impacted their lives.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, before we talk about the budget here,
Yeah.
so Josh Brolin was the lead character here
Yes.
in this movie here. How would you feel if it was either Daniel Craig
Ooh, okay. That's a
or
good
Will
one.
Smith?
I mean, Daniel Craig could do it.
I think Daniel Craig could have done
I
it,
could see him in that role.
Honestly, Will Smith could do it though, man. Pursuit of Happiness, he was really fucking good in Pursuit
which
of
I've
Happiness.
never actually seen. Pursuit of
It's
Happiness.
sad as shit. Just do
Yeah,
yourself
okay.
a favor. I mean, just take a finger off. It's about the same as watching that movie. It's so sad.
Yeah, I'd prefer not to watch that movie.
Yeah, they were both offered the roles before Josh Brolin, but they
Wow.
both turned it down.
I will say there's a flaw in Josh Brolin. in the beginning.
His acting.
No, his acting's fine. I think his acting's fine. He's supposed to be like 25 years old in the beginning of this movie.
Oh, he doesn't look 25.
No, he looks like he's a solid 45 trying to be 25. And he's supposed to be in his mid-20s.
And then like the 20-year gap, I'm like, he doesn't look any different.
Yeah, he doesn't age
The
at
only
all.
thing that the only
just
way
gets
they
more
show it
buff.
That's true.
Right.
But the only way they show it is by gray in his hair. They add more gray to his hair.
see, I
They-
didn't
I didn't even
recognize
it.
see any grays or whatever. Like when he was about to escape, it was all black hair.
Right.
Like black beard, black hair. I'm like, where's the grays? There's got to be some grays in here. It's like I'm just over 30.
Yeah.
And I've got gray hairs like crazy.
Yeah, well, it's
But yet-
not as stressful living in a hotel room.
But yeah, exactly. There's no stress. You don't have to pay bills. You're not adulting. You're just fed everything. You're fed
everything, given vodka. I mean,
Yeah.
They don't let you masturbate, though.
Watch little mice die.
oh, they knock you out.
They only do it once. After that, you're free
okay.
free to masturbate.
No,
Okay. Like,
John,
it's
you
20
were
years,
saying, John, you were saying the scene that you liked was when he was recounting the memories.
Yes,
right,
yeah, I
of
thought
the
that was
school.
really well done. Yeah,
I actually enjoyed when he was drunk, like really, really passed out.
Oh, and the
drunk.
camera's like falling behind him at like this weird angle and shit, and it's like a jacket. It's a harness. Yeah,
That camera was cool. I'm like, okay, that's neat, but I'm actually glad that they didn't stay with that because it was disorienting. But it definitely did get you into that mindset of,
He's fucking drunk.
we're really drunk. Like, we're drunk with him.
Him puking on the sidewalk,
Ugh, yeah.
right? Just laying down and
that was
puke
bad.
pouring out of his mouth. I was like, this is well acted, sir. I
Yes.
was like,
Reminds
you
me of-
deserve an Oscar for
I
this.
like
Reminds me of
that.
my Jaeger bomb days.
oh yeah,
Yeah. That part when he's laying there and he's blowing chunks or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he starts crying.
yes.
And I'm like, dude, this is like the lowest bottom that he's actually
No.
at.
They found a new low, by the way.
Right,
But
yeah,
then- But then he buys the Buddha duck.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, yes, that was.
I died laughing when he's talking to Chucky and he's trying to get Chucky to let him in. He's like, "Go away!" He's like, "Tell the duck." I laughed so hard I had
Yeah.
to pause the movie. It was great.
So
Tell the duck.
but I did like that whole like scene where like the camera there was probably 5 or 6 different camera angles.
well, they had like this overhead camera
Yeah.
that was following him.
There was the GTA, like the harness on the back,
Like a third person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
third person type thing, and then the overhead shot from like I think it was.
It was every time you like cross a street, there was like an
But
overhead
what was kind of
camera.
interesting though is at first he was like yelling out like, "Who has more alcohol?" and everybody's like, "Shut up" or whatever. But what's kind of interesting is those camera angles looked like they were coming from the windows of like people watching
him do it. That's
Yeah.
possible.
and I'm like, that's kind of creative.
Here's
I'd
what's
have to see
funny
it
though. For people who've watched both the original one and this one, there's people slam this movie all the time because they don't have as many interesting camera angles and as much interesting stuff happening as they do in the original. But what they do in the original, some of it's pretty cool. Like there's a scene where he's like holding a dumpling between some chopsticks, and they like pull the camera back, and it looks like they pull it straight through the chopsticks. I don't know how they do it. It's just really kind of cool how they do the shot. But other than that, there's a lot of weird shit happening in that movie too. And I'm sorry, but it's just there's so much weird happening. Like, have you guys ever seen Naked Lunch? The movie, not the book, but read the book.
No.
Like, I've seen, but I've read the movie. I've watched the movie and read the book.
I don't even know what that
It's
is.
a fucking weird movie.
I've heard of it, but I haven't.
It's out there. I'll put it on my list that way we can all be
Wonderful.
just completely astounded.
Thanks, Eddie.
You're welcome.
I mean, we've seen it.
Too late. But that movie, this movie, the original, I should say, was it wasn't as linear. And I'm sorry, but I kind of like this as just a revenge story. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I'm okay with it being just a straightforward, like this guy fucked up, quote unquote, and this other guy was not going to let that go. Whatever. Let's take all the incest out of it for a moment, but just this one guy fucked up. This other guy felt that he needed to have revenge, and man, did he exact some revenge.
He did.
I mean, just some serious mind fuck revenge.
Yeah, so the actor who played Adrian, his name is
Charlton
Sholto Copley.
Mm-hmm.
Copley, something like that.
He was in District 9.
Yes.
Oh, was that the same guy?
Yeah, and he was
okay.
in Elysium. He's been in a ton of stuff.
What was that run robot?
Chappie.
Chappie.
He was in Chappie. Yeah, he's a South African actor. He's fucking awesome.
Okay.
He's a good actor, and
I liked him in this.
he was really good in this movie.
Yeah.
He's really good in everything that he does. The thing that kind of hurts him, in my opinion, is that he looks like a fucking dweeb. Like, you have to get over that first, and you're like, man, you are super weird, aren't you?
He does look like he
Well,
just
you just
you
pay
know,
everybody to do everything.
Yeah, he
That's
came
true, yeah.
from money. He was born into it.
Yes.
But there were 3 people who were offered the role before him.
Really?
So Christian Bale, which nah.
Christian Bale would have been good.
As Adrian,
Yes.
too,
Yes.
nah.
See, Christian Bale, this character is too hands off.
Right.
Christian Bale is like a hands on type of guy.
I hear
Like
ya.
like the
Yeah.
like American Psycho. I mean,
Yeah,
he's not gonna just go, you kill him.
See, American
gonna-
Psycho is where I was going.
He's
Like,
gonna
Yeah,
grab
I
the
was
axe
too.
and start killing
if
people.
you could imagine American Psycho, like,
I mean, he
taking
would have
out-
joined the sex scene.
Right.
It's a good point.
And then flexed.
But if you take his when he's not killing somebody in American Psycho,
Yes.
when he's like look when the whole
the
business
voiceover
card,
scene?
the whole
Yeah.
business card speech, right?
Yeah.
You take that tone of voice and that
dry,
dry
crazy delivery. Yeah.
It's like, look at that raised lettering.
Yes.
Don't just look
yeah.
at it, eat it.
What an asshole.
Yeah.
But also Colin Firth was.
Nah.
No.
And then one that I think would probably nail the role, Clive
Schwarzenegger.
Owen.
Clive Owen?
Clive Owen.
Clive Owen.
Ah.
Clive Owen would have been good, but Clive Owen.
I'm a
I
Clive
don't-
Owen fan. so.
I like Clive Owen. The problem I have is that Clive Owen's made some bad movie choices. Right? What was that? Shoot 'em up
Yeah.
with Paul Giamatti.
I like Shoot 'em Up.
Not a good movie.
That's entertaining.
Not a good
Never
movie.
saw it.
Yeah, it's everything is done with guns.
Yeah.
Like everything. I need to open a pop can. Like just it's done to it. It's done in a satirical way.
Right.
The
but-
movie is
Right.
called Shoot Them Up.
Yeah, I know.
Shoot up
It's
everything.
it was so dumb. It was so over the top. I'm like, I gotta tie my shoes. Start
Shooting the tips of the shoelaces and then it
It's
makes
so
a bow.
dumb.
Eddie, if that would work in real life, you'd do it.
I was like, come on.
That's right.
That's possible.
And one last thing before
Why
we
are
talk
your
about
shoes
the budget.
untied? Ran out of 22 cal.
Yep.
I'm a 45 guy, John. Come
it's
on.
half
now.
tied.
So there was a director that was tied to this.
Oh God.
I
No.
won't say it because I've seen it. I won't
know.
say it.
I wanted to lead up this to have somebody say it was Peter
Berg?
but no, it's not.
No.
Peter Berg.
That's what I was gonna go with.
We need to come up with a name for that. Like anytime a movie has like Peter Berg,
just been Peter Berg.
It's
It's
been Berged.
It's been
Yeah.
burged.
It's been iceberged.
It's burgled.
like the Titanic.
burgled.
It's been burgled.
Burgled. Okay, I like that. I like burgled. We'll go with that. No, actually, Steven Spielberg.
What?
I don't see him doing this.
I don't
film,
either. This is not a
which is
Spielberg
why
movie.
he didn't do it.
Yeah,
I mean, I just
Well, Spike Lee doing this movie is kind of interesting.
it's different for him too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. The thing is that the South Korean version is like beloved. Like the people who like the South Korean version fucking love the South Korean version. So whoever did this movie, especially with the way it's been rewritten, was going to get lambasted anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They couldn't win.
Well, to play off what I was saying earlier,
Yeah.
when the studio cut the 40-something minutes or whatnot off
Yeah.
off of Spike Lee's cut, it's if you notice that the all of Spike Lee's films say a Spike Lee joint.
Yeah.
This
as I
one did
mentioned
not.
that, yeah.
This one did not. It said a Spike Lee film because he said, "Nope, take my name off of it. I don't want it."
Interesting.
Because he did not like what came out, and years later, not years later, the following year, Josh Brolin even said he's like, yeah, the final cut, what was released was not the film.
Well,
that we
and
made.
okay, so I'll say this: I like this version. I like this movie.
I would
say.
like to see the director's
love
cut.
to see the director's cut. But since I haven't seen the director's cut, I can't like the director's cut more than this version.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
they've
I'm
seen
not- yeah.
both, it's like, okay, well, shit.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I thought it was very well paced.
I did too. I
absolutely.
thought it was a
good.
perfect length.
And I
It
think
was great.
And I think
Yeah.
adding 40 minutes, I mean, that's a lot of film to add in.
When apparently it's all character development too.
Yeah,
Oh,
see,
is
that
that
would
what it
just
is?
slow it down to a crawl.
Yeah, you know what? It might. I would still like to see it just to say we
Well,
saw
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I would like to see what they did cut out and what they kept in.
Well, this
So-
kind of makes
so-
me want to watch the
So
original.
Spike, Josh, if you're
Yeah.
listening, we'd like to see that cut.
There's probably
So,
a director's
Release
cut
the Spike
somewhere.
Lee cut.
If you watch the original, I'll tell you now, do your best to ignore the American version, because if you do, you're going to want to fast forward.
I did like the production companies at the very beginning. Mm-hmm. The first one that was on there was Good Universe,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it had like a bunch of kids running across the field. I'm like, okay. if this is anything like an Eddie production or an Eddie movie,
An Eddie production.
good universe here.
You all gonna die.
They probably did not understand what movie they were funding.
You know, Kyle, I feel like you're trying to typecast me into picking a certain type of movie. That's not always true, okay? Not always. Wait till you see my next animation.
Okay.
So, what do you got on the budget?
Yeah, I got the budget. It was actually surprising. $30 million to make this movie.
That's not bad.
That seems, I don't know, that seems kind of high.
It seems a little high for what was shot.
Well, I mean, we're in the same room for 30 minutes, and then...
But if I was to list out these names, Charlton Copley, Josh Brolin, Samuel L. Jackson, Rami Malek, who else is in this movie? I'm trying to think.
Malek was in it for 5 seconds.
Hey,
Elizabeth
still
Olsen.
got a payday. Still got a $10,000, $20,000 payday. Just saying.
I don't know.
Lance Reddick.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, he was good.
He was in it for a minute.
Wasn't he in Fringe before 2013?
Which one was Lance Reddick?
He's the
black guy.
skinny
He's
black.
the-
He's the guy who's Brolin is trying to sell the advertising stuff to at the beginning at the restaurant.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he was in...
He was in Fringe.
I think
He's
he
in
was
a
in
bunch of stuff.
But then
Fringe,
I was trying to think of when that
Agents
was.
of S.H.I.E.L.D., maybe?
Well, no, I was thinking about when was Fringe actually made.
Oh,
I
like
think it was
2006.
late 2000s, right?
Yeah. No, early 2000s.
Early.
Pre 2010.
Yes.
Tons of people are yelling at their podcast right now.
Yeah,
was
but
2002.
but anyway, sorry.
Morons.
So
It had
do you guys
Josh Jackson.
do you guys think it made its money back?
Yes.
No.
Nah.
No.
I don't
I
think
think
so.
it did. I
No,
think it did.
John thinks so.
Absolutely.
Okay, so gross worldwide 5.1 million.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Not even close to the
Yeah.
budget.
But I want to be clear. How many of you guys have even heard of this
I was about to
movie?
say I've known about it because I've known about the original.
So
and
you have, Kyle?
No.
John?
Nope.
No. They didn't put
That's
any
true.
marketing behind the fucking thing.
Well, and it didn't actually get picked up by any notable production companies.
Yeah, there's
like
that,
there's
too.
no Universal, there's no Columbia Pictures, there's no Sony Pictures, there's nothing.
So I actually showed this movie in a art house whenever it first came out. That's how I first saw it, and I was like, I actually saw it before anybody else saw it in the town. Let's just say it that way. And I was literally like, oh my god, it's his daughter. I mean, like, it took so much for me not to ruin the movie for people because I'm like, it's awful. It's his daughter. Oh my god. But yeah, it's I don't know. I like it. I wish that they had put some money behind it. I think if they had put money behind it and been like Josh Brolin, Samuel L. Jackson, Charlton Copley, in a very twisted love triangle.
It's his daughter.
It's his daughter, is it not? Mia.
Yeah.
Sin
Elizabeth
City.
Olsen naked.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's true. That did happen.
Yep. it
Didn't
did.
she actually say that she
I rewound it.
Didn't she actually say somewhere that I think it was in an interview that she regretted actually doing this scene?
No.
No,
Or the
she,
negative
no
scene?
it's totally opposite.
She was
yeah.
fine with it.
Oh, she was?
She was fine with it. She said I think she said something like I think Josh probably had more of a problem with it because he
yeah.
actually has a daughter that's my age.
Yeah, see that's yeah. Because any time that happens on film, I'm thinking, "Ugh, that does not look good." You know.
I guess.
She looked great.
Well, I mean, it doesn't look good that the age difference. That's what I was talking
And
about.
she's the stable Olsen. So
Hold on though. Doesn't it work
Right.
for what's the old couple that's married that's been married forever now? Oh my god, the young girl. She was in Legends of Zorro, Mask of Zorro.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, and
and
she's
Michael
married
Douglas?
Michael Douglas.
Well, I
Talk
don't-
about an age gap. Jesus.
yeah.
The guy knew Jesus.
I
And she's still
I don't
climbing aboard.
I don't necessarily look at that relationship of going, yeah, good job.
No, but I'm
It's
just
like,
saying.
ew,
I mean,
that's
I do. I'm like, go Michael Douglas.
yeah, it's a little awkward. Kyle, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It is a little awkward. I don't want my own daughter wrapped up in it. You know what I mean? But
Right.
at the same time, it's on film. It's
I know.
It's a
It's a
it was
movie.
fake. They were both wearing pasties down there.
It's a movie.
They were both wearing penis pasties.
but I don't think those were fake.
No?
No, I don't. So the audience gives this a 37%,
Yep.
Oof.
and the critics give it a 39%.
Yep.
Wow, so they're pretty close.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're super harsh on this movie. Again, if you like the original one and you're sold in your head that the original one is what it is, it's this grand movie making experience, then you're not gonna like this one.
Right.
You can't. It's like us rewatching Ghostbusters. If somebody made a remake of
Oh, that's more depressing.
Oops.
Yeah. Sore subjects.
So, Eddie, since
Yes.
this was your movie, you get the honors of going first.
Okay, so to be clear, the subject matter in this movie is rough. It's hard to watch. There's parts of it that makes me want to vomit. But I will say that as far as being a revenge story, I can't think of many other revenge stories. Maybe The Skin I Live In.
I was about to say, The Skin I Live In?
Skin I Live In's pretty good, right? It's pretty up there, right? However, I don't know.
And you know, when you actually say, well, you say that I have like a type of movie.
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
yes, you do.
Okay, but if I had to pose this to you guys, okay? You have to sleep with your own daughter, or you have to let Antonio Banderas give you a sex change. Which one is your punishment? Which one are you
how
picking?
about neither? Because I'm not in the movie.
No, I'm just asking. If you had to pick one.
It's not even. It's not even a. No. No.
So
Well, obviously, I like my stuff. So.
yes, yeah, exactly. So as far as revenge stories go, go ahead,
Elizabeth
John.
Olsen?
No,
Yeah.
no. You're
Hold on. If
you're
he's yes,
If we're doing hypotheticals
Yeah.
here,
And I didn't know. Do I know?
no,
Do we
you know.
Oh, we
You find
Oh,
out. Yeah,
Jesus.
you got to live with it.
Oh Lord.
So
No,
listen.
afterward.
As yes,
Then I'm
afterwards.
good with it.
Oh God, John. As far as
If I knew about it
I could do it.
afterward, I mean, I could always go and have myself brainwashed to forget it.
Oh yeah, I'd be shooting myself. I think I couldn't deal with it. Anyway, so
I
as far
wouldn't
as
do that. I wouldn't go that far, but
as far as revenge stories go, I really like how deep this got. I like the depths to which Charlotte Copley, Adrian's character, is willing to, spend not just 20 years. I mean, he spent years before that. He spent time not just torturing Josh Brolin, but he spent time, changing the whole character of Mia to where she would be interested in a guy like Josh Brolin. He had to make sure
Had to cultivate that.
Yeah, he had to make sure that turned into what it had to be. And that's just, I'm sorry, that's just the depths of that anger is very difficult to capture, but I think they captured it pretty well. So for me, I enjoy this movie in a weird way, I guess. I don't like watching it, let me be clear, because it makes me physically
How many times have you
nauseous.
seen this?
This is the third time.
17th.
No,
Yeah.
it's
No?
the third. Like
20th?
that tells you how hard it is for me to watch because I can't watch it a lot. It makes me physically ill. But because of all of everything I just said, and I do like the style of it. I like the composition. I think that coloring, which we never even talked about, like they do a lot with color in this movie. The yellow pop of the umbrella, the red of the walls, etc. I just really like everything that they put into the movie. I enjoy. So for me, I'm going to say that this is an 8-3.
Wow, I'm already surprised.
8-3.
dear God, wow.
Yep.
Okay. I actually was surprised at how much I actually enjoyed this movie. Mainly because of the plot twist at the end. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't actually orchestrated the way it was at the very end, it would have been a shit movie.
I agree.
You know, because when everything comes together in one room, and that's when everything that you just witnessed in the last hour and 20 minutes or hour 30 minutes or whatever is going, okay, this is the road that I was on. Mm-hmm. It's like you never knew the destination was there until you actually hit it, and you're like, holy shit, that was really good, really well played. Mm-hmm. The acting by Josh Brolin wasn't that great in this film. He wasn't. I don't know. It just something about him being trapped and didn't. I don't know. I just never seen Josh Brolin in that type of situation before. He's usually in the I'm a badass from the get go, not I'm a loser, drunk, and I'm trapped.
Well, like we just watched him in Dune, kicking ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was never the emotionally compromised person. He's always had it together in all of his movies that I've seen anyways. And you know, Elizabeth Olsen's acting was it was okay.
It's Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really get anything else out of her, but I don't know. I think the music wasn't really out there, like it wasn't notable that I heard anyways. I think I'm going to give this a 5.6.
Okay, a 5.6 for Kyle. John?
All the disgusting bits aside, I really enjoyed this film. I didn't see the twist coming. I really like, and one scene that we glossed over that I want to mention here. When he gets out of the suitcase and he sees the umbrella girl walking swiftly away, and he follows her. That whole chase scene is just so he will meet Maria.
Yeah.
It's all orchestrated.
I thought that was just the looking back. It's a film that you have to watch and look back on in order to actually understand the film, which I really like. I like films that make me think that at the end it makes me want to go back and go, okay, let me analyze this.
Yeah, you almost have to watch it that second time. I hear you.
Yeah.
I think that's what Kyle was kind of alluding to. Like, once you get to that last scene,
It's like you don't know where you're going
Yeah.
until you actually hit that destination, and then you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
whoa,
but
that was cool."
When Adrian starts explaining everything and he's walking in and he starts asking other questions, you're like, "But I thought we were at the end of the movie. You gave him the suitcase and everything's better." No, things are not.
No.
Oh God, no, things are not better.
Things are not better at all. And I like
Things
how
just got worse.
I like how when that happens, they don't spoon feed you memories.
Yeah.
They don't like bring flashbacks back to you. It's like no. This is a smart audience that's watching this.
Yeah,
So both of everything that you guys have said, I'm going to give this film a 7.8.
Okay, a 7.8 for John. So I enjoyed this movie too. I was kind of casually watching it for about the first 15 minutes, but then when they came in and they took like the hair samples and the semen samples and everything, that's kind of when I was like, okay, this is getting interesting now. Well, why is he?
Justin was like, "Ooh, semen samples."
Yes.
was that semen? What's going on?
Yes. That's when it got interesting. That's when I perked up.
As you often do.
But
Evidence.
yeah. But I mean, what it did is in my brain, it turned on the detective part of me, and I started trying to figure out, what's going on? Why is he here? Where's this leading? And I enjoy when movies make me do that. The Josh Brolin, he was okay. I didn't think there was anything stand out. I think like the best part of his acting is like towards the end when he everything is revealed to him.
Yeah, he starts screaming.
Yeah,
with that
he's
look
just
of
kind
like
of
horror on his face.
Yeah,
yeah.
He was just kind of all over the place. I'm gonna give this, I think, just probably I'm gonna do an 8. I think that means that it gets a 7.4.
Cool.
Okay, so now we basically got one more round of spins that we got to do, right? So we have like four more.
Everybody's
four
on the
more
board.
genres.
Everybody's back on the board.
What are those genres again?
We have comedy, romance, sports film, and thriller.
Jeez. Okay.
Boy,
Well,
I can't believe we still have Thriller, by the way.
Yeah.
It feels like it held out
It
for
did.
a long time.
It did. The Wheel of Fate has
Yeah,
Screwed us again. So
pretty much.
All right, let's see who the victim is. Eddie.
oh wow,
Wow.
double feature.
You had it last time.
I know.
Yeah, that's nuts.
it's going to be the original Oldboy.
No,
I like it. I like where your head's going.
please.
Oh dear. All right, here we go.
Let's see what a romance does.
Oh, that's romance.
Sports film.
Ah, sports film.
Sports film, perfect. Okay, so I am going to choose Without Limits from 1998. Without Limits, by the way, follows the story of Steve Prefontaine. It stars Billy Crudup and Donald Sutherland. And it's, you guys know the story of Prefontaine?
No.
He was a runner, 1970s. Yeah, he was involved in the Olympics. He did a bunch of stuff. Pretty crazy story.
Yeah, I got the synopsis here.
Go ahead.
The life of renowned runner Steve Prefontaine and his relationship with legendary coach Bill Bowerman.
Yep.
Okay.
So it was directed by Robert Towne, who also wrote it. And it stars, Billy Crudup, Donald Sutherland, and Monica Potter. Yeah. All right, with that, we'll see you next Saturday.
All right. See you.
See ya.
Later.